Is the Pixel 10 Pro the phone that changes everything? After months of anticipation, I'm unboxing Google's latest flagship, and my first impressions are in. You won't believe what stands out immediately, and it might just surprise you. I'm Captain Awesome, this is Geekception. Let's begin, baby. And starting with the unboxing, it comes in this regular paper box here, of which I have it in porcelain. You get the USB-C to USB-C cable, your SIM card ejector tool, and manuals that I know you're never going to read. And that's pretty much all that comes in the box of the Pixel 10 Pro that I have here. Now, of course, the Pixel 10 Pro comes in different colors here, but it is not as fancy as the Pixel 9 Pro, which still had the best color. Please don't at me. Looking at the material here, and it feels very familiar to what we're already used to on the Pixel. It still has that very glossy sides that I am not a fan of. Taking a tour around the phone, and there is still the mismatched buttons. I think they are mismatched of the power button at the top and the volume rocker at the bottom, which every other phone is the opposite. On the left side, there is nothing there. Going on to the bottom, we have the USB-C port and the speaker grill there. And at the top, you have the SIM tray ejector tool, as well as another microphone. Going on to the back, and we have the camera island there with 3 cameras, including a telephoto that can now do 100x thanks to AI zoom. We'll get to that very shortly. And a Google logo that looks the same, but actually is different from the Pixel 9 Pro series. Now, holding it in the hand here, and it feels definitely nice to hold. I have the Pixel 10 here. Last year I had the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but I have really massive hands, so most phones at this size will be very palmable for me. And here, it feels very comfortable. In fact, my wife really likes the size, and I think the size is one of the best, if not the best size for a compact phone. And build quality still feels great here overall. And if you've used the Pixel 9 Pro XL, I think you are very used to this phone here. Or if you've not used it and you've used something like, let's say, the iPhone 16 Pro Max or the Galaxy S25 Ultra, those phones have premium build quality just like this Pixel 10 here. And I believe the Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL. And wrapping up build quality, I would say that the Pixel 10 Pro here is at the upper echelons of what you would want in a premium smartphone, and it does not disappoint, just like any of the other top smartphones such as the Galaxy S25 Ultra or the iPhone 16 Pro Max, for example. Booting up the phone, and we have that familiar Google logo here with a initial setup process that can take a little too long, but thankfully I was able to get in there and just see how fast the user interface is here on the Pixel 10 Pro. Like, initially, this phone feels very responsive, and as someone who has used the Pixel 9 Pro XL for a while now, it still manages to hold up over time. So I would say responsiveness here is great. Now, the Pixel 10 Pro here runs Android 16, which is the latest iteration of Android. And of course, Google has given this phone some particular exclusives, such as the Journal app, which uses AI to help you in journaling, which I'm not sure how that's going to work. We'll get to that. As well as Magic Cues, which I'm actually excited about, which will use context from your email or from your flight tickets or whatever it is you book to be able to actually give you different information throughout the user interface. You also have several new features in the camera, such as Camera Coach, which will teach you how to take better photos, as well as 100 times AI-powered zoom, which I'm definitely excited to try out here on the Pixel 10 Pro. And for those that know, and for those that don't know, I'm not a biggest fan of the Pixel camera interface, but after using it now, this is my 3rd device that I'm using the Pixel camera interface. You know, I'm warming up to it, and I'm excited for all of the photos I'll be taking on this puppy right here. Okay, now let's go on to upgrades. So what are some of the upgrades you would actually be getting on the Pixel 10 Pro and Pro XL series here? Now let's start with the display, and the display here, at least on the Pro, is 6.3 inches, but that is not anything new. What is new, however, is that it goes up to 3,300 nits of brightness now, which is fantastic, especially if you live in a sunny country here like Malaysia that I live in. And next is storage. So now the variant I have here is 128 gigs, but you now get UFS 4.0 speed from 256 gig and above storage variants. Sadly, not on the 128 gig that I've got here. You also have zoned UFS for Pixel 10 Pro XL 512 gigs and above. So basically what all of this mumbo jumbo means is that you're getting really, really fast storage on these devices, which will help a lot if you're planning on on using this for any big file downloads or using it to take so many photos and so many videos, you know that storage is not going to be a bottleneck on this Pixel 10 Pro series. And next, this one, not a lot of people would actually be talking about it, but the speakers have actually been upgraded, both the top and the bottom speakers here on the Pixel 10 Pro series. So you should be getting a little bit more louder. How much more louder, I'm not sure, but you should be getting some louder sound. And if it is anything to go by how the Pixel 9 Pro XL was, I would say that you are in for a treat with the speakers on this Pixel 10 Pro. Now for the camera here, there are actually 4 different upgrades for the camera in the Pixel 10 series. Now, hardware-wise, if I'm not mistaken, it's not changed. I think it's almost the identical, if not the same identical camera on the Pixel 9 series here, 9 Pro series. This is the 9 Pro XL. So it's not really a hardware thing. I think it's just mostly first, you've got that 50 megapixel camera on the main camera, but it's also got improved stabilization, which is great for anybody who's going to be recording anything on the go, including me. So I'll be testing that out. Next, it's got a 48 megapixel telephoto, which is great, but it's also got that 100 times AI zoom mode now that is available on the telephoto, which means you can really zoom and trust that the AI is going to at least try to make something out of it, which is exciting for people who like to take 100x mode photos. Is that you? I mean, who takes this? Let me know if you actually will use this feature, because I think it's a gimmick. Like remember when they used to put like macro cameras on phones? Yeah, I think it's just one of those kind of features that they are putting in now, but tell me if you use it or not. And the third, which makes this phone series actually the first in, I think, ever to have C2PA certification, which means that when you take a photo now, it is actually certified that you took the photo with this phone, and if there are any edits you've made on the phone, it means that it can be authenticated. Now, in a world of AI and where things can be faked rather easily, I think this is a massive first step in just having a phone that is a camera that you can trust that, it took the photo, right? Which is also very surprising, because Google is actually one of the biggest manufacturers pushing AI. I mean, Gemini is theirs, right? So, but it's a nice step in the right direction for having authentication, and for creators like me having authenticity to be able to know that, hey, I made this photo with this device, and you can actually be able to pull up the metadata to see all of that. That is really cool. As you can tell, this is Geekception. I'm a massive gear nerd, and I enjoy talking about stuff like this, but it's great that we have it. And I hope other manufacturers like Apple next month, for example, when they release their new iPhone series, and next year for Samsung, I really hope they bring C2PA certification as well. And the last one is actually pretty sweet, which is if you use Instagram a lot, which I do, it actually now has a low light boost mode for Instagram exclusively, which means that it will actually brighten videos that you take with the Pixel 10 Pro series on Instagram. If you're going to be using Instagram at night, I definitely will be testing this. But yeah, that is exciting for social media people like me who like to post everything about their life. So please go follow me on Instagram if you're not already doing that. But yes, that is great that this is present on the Pixel 10 Pro. Going on to the processor and RAM, of course, we have the Tensor G5 here on the Pixel 10 Pro, which is the natural successor to the Tensor G4 that was present on the Pixel 9 Pro series. Now, the difference here is that it's gotten a little bit of upgrade from the 9 Pro series, which is now it has 16 gigabytes of RAM versus the 12 gigabytes of RAM that was on the Pixel 9 Pro series, which is great here, having more RAM. Not sure I ever noticed not having enough RAM on my Pixel 9 Pro series, but I guess it's good for getting upgrades year to year anyway. Going to battery, and in my notes, I did not put if it's a massive upgrade or not, because last year I got the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but this now has a 4,870, trying to get it right, milliampere battery, which Google claims to give you 30 plus hours is what their guide told me. I'm not sure how that will actually play out in real life, so I'm looking forward to YouTubers that will be actually testing the battery claims. But you have those battery claims here as well on the Pixel 10 Pro series, so upgraded battery life. And of course, you've also got Qi2 Wireless Charging, which is not the fastest. I believe it goes at 15 watts and 25 watts. And now there is this new Pixel Pixel Snap feature, which is just a fancy name for MagSafe, which means that you can now attach magnetic things here without needing a case, which is fantastic for me, because one of the biggest gripes I had with the Pixel 9 Pro XL was that I had to buy like a transparent case for that phone. So you don't need to do any of that. It comes with it right now. And one thing I like is that there's also an included Pixel case that I got here, the official case for the Pixel 10 Pro. And it's very simple unboxing here. I put it on and I was actually quite happy to know that the official case also supports the Pixel Snap, which means that the magnets pass through, because even on the iPhone, some cases, they actually don't support MagSafe, which means that when you put on a case, you lose the ability to actually magnetize it on something. You don't have that concern here on the Pixel 10 Pro. The case, the official case right here, fits that nicely. Going to my first impressions of the Pixel 10 Pro, which I have here, as well as the series in general, is what are my pros and what are my cons about it. And I would start with the pros. You still get 7 years of software updates here, which means that, Pixel drops here, which means that you have peace of mind that you're going to be getting the latest and greatest. And one thing I really love about Pixels is that you really do get it. So I have my Pixel 9 Pro XL right here. This, I have had the developer beta for Android 16 on it, so I could get it early, I could play with it. I love it. Pixels are great. And when it comes to just longevity, you are going to be pretty pleased with the Pixel 10 Pro right here. Another pro are all the features that we are now getting, such as the magic cues, which I really like. And there's a daily briefing feature as well, which I really like as well. So some of these AI features are the ones that I would actually use, which are things that resurface information. These are the ones I tend to like and I tend to prefer, as opposed to the generative ones, which I don't use that much. I mean, I don't have negative feelings about them, whatever, but I personally just don't use them. But yeah, I think these are some of the nice things here. Of course, you've got that 100 megapixel, I keep saying 100 megapixel, 100x AI zoom that is also present here on the Pixel 10 Pro as well. And overall, it just seems that this phone is pushing more polish into the Pixel series. This is the 10th phone in their line, so they've had some practice in making phones at this stage, Google. So you would hope, and I think that is what I'm feeling here, that this is just a more well-polished variant of their iterations over the years. As for cons though, I would say I'm still not a fan of that very slippery, very fingerprinty sides of this phone, though I would have to admit that it does feel a little less fingerprinty compared to the Pixel 9 Pro XL, which I really despise the size of that phone. I'll tell you that for sure. The next thing is also in the updates. Now, this has got 7 years of software updates, but I think the Pixel 9 series is a cautionary tale here, because even the journaling app, as at the time I'm making this video before embargo, is not available on the Pixel 9 Pro series. Now, I don't know if it will eventually come to it as a software update, but I don't see any reason why Google could not have brought that here, right? Same thing for Magic Cues, which sure, it's using on-device AI, but the Pixel 9 Pro XL also has on-device AI, and I hope maybe it's just they keep it for maybe 3 months or 4 months and it eventually comes down here. And why am I making such a huge fuss of it? I'm making such a huge fuss of it because if this has 7 years of software updates, same as this one, 1 year in, it's already not getting feature parity to just a device that is 1 year apart. And it's not like as if there's a massive jump between the G4 and the G5 Tensor here. So I wouldn't say it's because, oh, they made such a massive leap in engineering, right? I don't think that's the case. So there's definitely something to worry about if Google continues this, and hopefully it's not, hopefully they don't, and these fears are very not valid over the long run. I would love to be proven wrong, and I'm sure, Google is watching this. I'm sending this video to them, so they're seeing this right now. I hope it's not, because that would really suck if it's gated behind the features, because what if Pixel 11 has something cooler? It can run the entire Gemini model, 2.5 or at that stage 3.1 Pro model on device itself. Does that mean that we are left out on the Pixel 10? That would suck, right? So I think that's just one of my big concerns, and I hope I'm just overreacting, okay? I hope so. This is my job. I hope so. And of course, I'm excited to use this phone. I purposefully unboxed it closer to the embargo date. So I've gotten this phone, I think, about 3 or 4 days now. I've kept it so that I can use it just as many of the consumers are also getting the phone as well. Because again, I take my time here on Geekception. I'm not rushing anywhere. And most of the time, I don't want embargo, or oh, I need to get it done at a certain time, to really cloud my judgment, which is why I think I took 2 days to just read the entire briefing that the PR folks over at Google and Exacom's, huge shout out to them, put together. And that was really helpful. It made me understand so many more features that I want to test, that I want to tell you about, and that I want to bring all of that information to you. So if that's something that it seems you care about, please do make sure you're subscribed, because I think at this stage 80 or 87% of people that watch this channel and is not subscribed. So that will really go a long way, so that you can also see like all the new stuff I want to talk about, because there's so many stuff, especially the daily briefing one, which on Samsung it was now brief, and that was very disappointing. I had lots of high hopes for that, but on here, let's just say, okay, spoiler, because you've made it all the way here, I'm very excited about the new daily briefing feature here, and I'm excited to talk to you about it. All right, that's it. I'm done. That has been my hands-on first impressions, unboxings, all of that, telling you some of the things I noticed from just reading all the documentation for what is new in the Pixel 10 Pro series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been a captain of awesome. This is Geekception. I appreciate you making it all the way here. So please text me when you get home so I know you got home safe. Also, watch out for tapir. They're bigger than they appear, so they're endangered. Make sure you do not hit them on the road, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to stay awesome. Bye. And thank you for making it all the way to the end of the video. Now, this video has taken me a bit longer than I thought it would, to be honest, because I was trying to make it for embargo, then I couldn't, then life just happened, and then there's so much more stuff coming on. But at least I'm happy with how it looks. I tried a new lighting setup and color grading, and in fact this color grading took me a while because I'd already completed it, then I lost it, then just literally now as I'm about to finish the video I found it again. So it's like a roller coaster, really, but I'm glad that it's finally up. I appreciate you making it all the way here. What have you been up to? What are you excited about? Please share all of those things down there below with the hashtag excited about, so I know you made it all the way here and you're super awesome, and I look forward to seeing and reading your comment. But yes, take care of yourself, and I'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye.